Hello, everybody. I'm James
And
Welsh.
I'm Robert Welsh.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight for the INKEY List Masterclass Live.
Yes, for those who aren't around or weren't around to catch the first one on Sunday from the 14th to the 18th of November, the wonderful INKEY Lists are partnering with authorities on skin and hair care to provide 4 live streamed masterclasses based on your most asked questions.
Yes, the INKEY List is a skincare brand, of course, dedicated to leading with ingredients and knowledge.
Yes, they have a great saying here that knowledge powers change. I love that. And we want to use our skincare knowledge to help you achieve your skincare goals and feel confident in your skin.
Yes, so tonight's masterclass is really focused on curating the perfect kind of skincare routine for a flawless makeup base.
Mhm.
No matter what your skin type, relevant conditions, oily, dry, blemish prone, hopefully we can help tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, all the products that we'll be using tonight will be available to buy on the INKEY List website. So if you see something you love, don't hesitate to head there and check it out.
Yes, considering tonight's event is all is all about education and knowledge around skincare. The INKEY List wants to give you all at home the opportunity to ask your own questions about your own unique skin.
Yes, so please feel free to comment your questions in the comment section, and we'll try our best to answer as many as possible.
Yes, we will have another chance to answer questions
Yes.
later on in the masterclass, as well as answering questions throughout the whole of tonight. So keep your questions coming.
Yeah, exactly. The purpose of a masterclass as well is all about learning. So again, you have loads of time to ask us questions, and we'll be dropping a few of our own personal hints in there as well for you.
Yeah, so should we get on with the first Q&A?
I think we should. So go ahead, like we said, drop your questions in the comments box. We'll go ahead and answer for you.
Okay, let's see what we have.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, question: what's the best skincare routine for dry skin when you wear a lot of makeup?
Hearing so much makeup.
Hair and makeup. So for me, I'm not really that dry other than my cheeks. So for me, what I would personally do is I focus on adding that hydration, then a good layer of moisturizer over the top.
Mhm.
I tend to then have like a very smooth kind of finish to my skin, but you would know more about as far as
Yeah, I
makeup
think
on.
sometimes when we think about our skin, and this goes for everyone of all skin types, when we think about prepping our skin for makeup, I think we kind of overcompensate quite a lot. And it's about finding that balance of how much product you are using versus how much you actually need. So again, this goes for if you're dry, oily, anything like that, especially if you wear a lot of makeup, you want it to stay on a long, long time. So apply your skincare and give it a few minutes. Go do like your eyebrows, finish your hair, go and I don't know, what do people do in
Let your
5
deodorant
minutes?
dry for a
Let your
bit.
deodorant dry, and then come back and see the kind of situation on your skin. Are you slightly drier on your cheeks? Are you slightly oilier around the nose? You know, maybe you need a little bit more moisture in those areas that feel tighter. So gauge what your skin is doing, and then you're going to eventually find that balance. It's a good technique to do to watch what your skin's doing. Give it a few minutes because our skin changes so much with seasons. I find personally,
Yeah,
I'm dry at the moment. I'm
yeah.
never dry. I'm an oily person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bear in mind that what works for you as a general skincare routine
Mm.
may not be the same thing that's going to work for you when you're applying makeup over the top.
That's exactly it. So when we're doing makeup, think of your skin in that literal oily, dry combination. And although we tend to ignore that rule for skincare and our skincare routines because we want more treatment going on, when it's makeup, because makeup is made that way as well, it's made to fit with literal skin types that they made up. But so think about it that way and just give your skin time to kind of like accept what it doesn't want. Accept what it wants, push out what it doesn't want, and just see how you're feeling, how your skin is feeling. Give yourself time to experiment, and then you'll get used to how much you need and where you need it. It's all about balancing it out in different parts of the face as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if we have another question. Let's see. Okay, so do you want to read it out?
I can try. Is there anything I can use in my skincare routine that makes applying makeup easier?
You know what? One of the not that I wear a lot of makeup, but one of I think the best feedback I get is exfoliation of whatever
Oh
kind
my
you feel
God.
suits your skin
Yeah.
better, but especially things like AHA that not only kind of work on that surface layer, get rid of dead skin, sorry, but also has like these slight hydrating properties to it as well. So yeah, definitely exfoliation, right?
100%. Prepping your skin in general is incredible. Exfoliation, I think we always think, oh, it's just gonna you know, dry me out. I think a lot of people are scared of it, but
Yeah.
it's going to help with the, you know, texture on the nose, texture on the areas where our skin tends to be more textured. In
Like
terms
the
of,
corners of the nose, right?
that's
Under
exactly what I
here
was
and up
about to say.
there.
In the areas where it is a little bit texture, maybe you exfoliate, you know, enough already. There is a trick I really, really like to use, and it's eye cream just
Mm.
everywhere. So do your skincare like normal and grab. I have no reason. I have no scientific reason, but for some reason, like a gel, but like literally I just happen to have one here.
Yes, yes,
The
caffeine.
caffeine eye cream is a really good example because it's almost like that liquid eye cream. It's not heavy, thick
It's like
cream.
a gel cream
Yeah.
hybrid
And it
almost.
has this texture on it where makeup just glides incredibly over. So, for example, where I'm dehydrated in these little corners, I call them my crevice bits.
Yeah,
Such a
crevices.
nice name. I would use an eye cream over it. I don't know why that
It
works.
makes sense because a lot of eye creams are kind of have pack that little bit more of a punch when it comes to
Mm,
hydrating and moisturizing,
yeah.
depending on obviously the formulation who
Mm.
made it. But yeah, that makes sense because this one in particular does have that kind of like silky finish to it, not in a horrible way where it feels matte
Not a
and
slip,
flippy.
not that
Yeah,
silicony slip, right?
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
is, but eye creams, I again, lifesaver always. Whenever someone maybe I can't quite get their dehydrated skin to look smooth, I'm like, right, get an eye cream and just kind of tap it on and really kind of push it into the skin.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
lovely.
Yeah.
Next question. Let's see. Okay, so we have another question from Sophie. Hi, how do I
Sophie.
stop my makeup sliding off my oily face by the end of the day? So this is
Hmm.
where we, I think, I'll quickly talk about
Yeah,
the products you
please.
use in
Yeah.
your skincare routine. This is like a long-term solution in the sense
Mm.
that you need to find products for you that help control that sebum production and work with it. Because I feel like we used to do a swing where we'd use a lot of blotting papers and we'd be frantic about trying to remove
I'm like,
that
oh
sebum
no,
from
a
our
tiny bit
face.
of oil.
Yeah, what am I gonna do? And it's annoying. It's annoying
Yeah.
throughout the day. Things like niacinamide, beta hydroxy acids. For me, niacinamide in particular is known for helping control sebum production. So AM, PM routine, I would use that. And then not using obviously things like heavy moisturizers. Sometimes on makeup days you can completely skip your moisturizer,
Well,
right?
listen, 100%. Do what you have to do to make sure you're on oily skin, to make sure your foundation is sitting on your skin. Um, where is it? Hyaluronic acid serums. That's it. If you are finding your skin is really super oily and everything you do is sliding off, wash your face, hyaluronic acid serum, done.
You don't
Makeup.
always necessarily have to
SPF,
moisturize.
SPF.
SPF is a always have to moisturize, but make
Yeah.
sure you're hydrating the body skin for
Yeah,
sure. I can
exactly.
really help.
And I think as well, think about, I always say this, unfortunately, there's no miracle cure for oily skin and makeup. As much as
No, learn to work
stuff we
with
see
it.
online, they're like, you know, do this, we have to kind of concentrate on repairing our foundation as we go throughout the day, rather than adding more and fixing. So think about how you're going to repair those areas that are oily, where it separates the makeup. So a nice hydrating mist, maybe on the makeup sponge, first tap it, rehydrate that area, then go back in with your makeup or some powder and set it. You want to renew that stuff. We don't want to pack on top because it gets so textured and a bit strange.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Do we have time for
I
another
wish it was doing.
question?
Oh yeah.
We do, lovely. So the next one, oh, you go ahead. Sorry, I'm hogging the
Oh no, I
questions.
will. My lipstick just cakes off. How do I fix
Thanks,
this?
Kathy.
Good question, Kathy. Oh,
That's you.
do
I
me.
don't do makeup.
Hey, James, take it away. I think we forget our lips. Here's some things I forget: my lips, my knees, my feet, the
Neck,
back of my neck,
hands, back of your neck.
the back of my knees. I always forget these areas are part of your face too, and or part of your body too. And lips is something I said to you the other day. When was the last time you exfoliated your lips?
Oh, and I was like nearly like 3 times a week ish.
Yeah, but some people leave it a really long time. What was the question? I just picked up. So, the reason it could be coming off, it could be oil and things like that. Maybe you're using something underneath, a
Maybe
lip
like something too
balm or
balmy
something
or
too balmy, or maybe the texture just doesn't sit well. Some mattifying or some sorry liquids
lipstick.
lipsticks. Oh my god, some lasting lipsticks don't sit very well, even on top of itself. So it's all about prepping again the area. So we want to exfoliate the lip. We want to make sure it's just as well kept as the rest of our face. I love lip primers. People forget about lip primers.
I
They
don't know.
just
I don't know what they are. What
just
are they
agree
like?
with me, and it just smooths out your lip and makes space for everything. If that's still not doing it, a lip liner that is your skin tone or just your lip color to completely block out the lip, and then go on top of your lipstick. You're not changing the color, and it's going to make a really strong, grippy, sticky almost base for
Yeah,
your
and
lipstick.
you can hydrate your lips as well. You can completely use. Be careful when using actives on your skin, but you can 100% use hyaluronic acid on your lips,
That's such a good idea.
and then use like
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
over top.
again, it's that nice. The reason I like hyaluronic acid on the face just as a serum for oily people is because it plumps the skin temporarily and has this. It's like a very nice, comfortable grip on the skin, and that feeling on the lips would be incredible for your lipstick. But try a lip liner if nothing's working. A nice fleshy color one.
Yeah. Do we have another question? Let's see.
Let's have a little look. Do you want to read this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question
Ooh,
from
that's a good
Melissa.
question.
Hello. How do I keep my skin hydrated whilst wearing makeup? So this is where I do think it gets a little bit tough because you can't really rehydrate
It's
through
like
makeup,
this.
right? So for me, it'd be all about the prep. So I would use something that really holds on to that hydration throughout the day, like hyaluronic acid serum, for example. I don't use it too much because for me, it can get a little too much.
I love it.
Yeah, you
Just
love
like,
it.
don't drink it.
Don't drink it.
I was
So
joking.
using like a hyaluronic acid serum on damp skin, and then putting that serum on damp again, then your moisturizer. That can really help. Just kind of like lock it in throughout the day, using a good kind of like final occlusive layer, like a moisturizer. To get it locked in.
It's difficult to think about how to keep it like refreshed because if you want to do like a hydrating mist, then you run the risk of kind of over hydrating your makeup. And then it's a little bit like, well, what do I do now? Especially if you're oily, you don't really want to do that. So like James said, it's all about the prep. And unfortunately, it's about finding a foundation that kind of makes the skin not overly dry. Do you remember as well, if you are oily, nothing says you can't use products that aren't just for oily skin. So again, it's like finding that balance and seeing what works with your skin. It's quite difficult.
Yeah. Okay, I think we have time for one more question, then we're going to be moving on to the masterclass.
Nice.
So let's see what we have. Do we have time for one more? We
Yeah.
do. So what is the best way to make sure all of my makeup is removed in my PM routine?
Good and important question. Very good question. No wipes. I'll start there.
No wipes, a good double cleanse. Listen, double cleansing doesn't mean you have to use a particular cleanser followed by another one. Just use the same cleanser twice. But I personally find that to remove makeup, sunscreen, all that kind of stuff, I personally prefer using like a cleansing balm. So oat cleansing balm, for example.
Literally
It's
balm.
got some lovely oils in it. I'm sure we're going to talk about this in a bit. To help really break down everything effortlessly. Listen, surfactants will help break down stuff, right? Makeup, sunscreen. But the slip that this oil gives you, the very little irritation and scrubbing that you have to do with a cleansing balm, it just seems to effortlessly take off everything.
It does. Oils break down makeup. Us oily people know that happens anyway through our skin, but oils break down even the most waterproof makeup. So to ensure that everything is removed, double cleanse. Oil first if you want to, a cleansing balm, or just twice with your cleanser is the best way to do it. And honestly, you'll have the freshest, cleanest face. Ever.
Okay. So thank you all so much for your questions.
Yes.
So for those of you who may be joining us just now, welcome. This is the second installment of the INKEY Masterclass live stream.
Yes, and tonight we are focusing on how to create a flawless pre-makeup base by creating the perfect skincare routine for your skin type using our favorite products from the INKEY list.
Yes, the INKEY list is a fantastic skincare brand that aims to make the skincare world that little bit easier to navigate, and it is, I must say.
So we just had a small Q&A session, but don't worry if you missed it, because we'll be having another one right after the masterclass, and we'll be answering your questions throughout the stream. So make sure you stick around to have your questions answered by us.
Yes, and don't forget that every product we talk about tonight is available to buy for yourself from the INKEY website. So if you see something you love, don't hesitate to go off and grab it.
Yeah,
but come back.
Yeah. Come back with me.
Okay, so let's get into the masterclass that you're all here for.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned, the topic is creating the perfect base for your makeup.
And let's just start by saying that skincare is the perfect beginning for makeup. You can't just slap makeup on some, only to cleanse once every 10 days. Only doing a bit more than that if you know us.
That's right. It's less about having like perfect skin under your makeup and more about just prepping your skin.
Exactly.
Make sure it's comfortable to survive under
And
makeup.
perfect doesn't mean, perfect as we see it. It just means that it's a perfect base for you, however your skin is.
Yes. So speaking of routines, the INKEY list has a very set out the 5-step routine to skincare. That is cleanse, hydrate, treat, moisturize, and SPF.
The most important part.
The most important part. What I do love about the packaging, if you watch my videos, you'll be very familiar with this, but it's put out there for you: clean, hydrate, treat, moisturize, SPF. And every product from the INKEY list kind of has like a little circle to let you know what step it is in their routine. And this really is like a very good basic system to follow.
And it's great for someone like me who isn't so knowledgeable about skincare, but can deal with like these ingredients and products. It says AM, literally things like AM, PM, so you know exactly what you're doing.
So tonight we're going to be working on the structure, the foundation works, and pretty much every skin type and concern. All you need to do is adapt the right products into your skincare routine. So of course, every skin is different. There are going to be different things that you might be able to relate to, not relate to, and different products that you might need. But this is kind of like the basics, right?
Yeah, and of course we're going to be focusing on the INKEY list products to use to create the flawless pre-makeup base.
Yes. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's start with the oat cleanser, which we're going to talk about first, because although, as we mentioned, this is a great like first step of a double cleanse, or both steps of your double cleanse, as we mentioned, it's just very
I was going to squeeze it out to people.
I think we're sampling it then.
Yeah, I'm going to have a little sniff.
Have a little sniff. One thing that makes kind of, I think, a first cleanse when you're prepping for makeup different to like a normal skincare cleanse, right, is that before you do your routine, even if you're not wearing makeup, you might kind of want to do an oil cleanse, just especially to get off like that excess sebum and stuff, but and kind of make a nice light moisturizing step of it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what this cleanser is good for. We've got some really nice oils in here that you can just leave on the skin, let your skin get moisturized, and then it kind of like washes off.
And it really is that nice balmy texture. I know a lot of people as well, sometimes I keep sniffing it, sorry, with like an oilier skin, we don't like the feeling of something being left in our skin, but it does completely just wash off once you rinse off water.
Yeah, so another thing you can do when we're talking about the kind of like cleansing stage is, again, opt for that kind of like what's like long-term results. So what do you want your skin to look like under your makeup? We kind of want like a brighter appearance, right?
We want it bright, we want it to be smooth, and we kind of want to minimize texture a little bit as well.
Yeah, so here we go, the fulvic acid brightening cleanser. This is a great double cleanser as well. I've actually tested it with like a few videos, well, no, last year probably. No, when did it come out? Whenever it came out, I tested it with layers
like this.
I tested that with layers of sunscreen, and it really effortlessly removed everything. What I like about this one is it's brightening. It has some vitamin C in here as well, so again, it's going to give you the kind of more even base to work with. You don't need an even base to be able to wear makeup, but what this is amazing at is just leaving you with that kind of like kind of like cleaner canvas.
Yeah. And that's exactly all we want. Again, it doesn't have to be completely smooth, but we just want to make it work well with our makeup and foundation and what we have.
Yeah. So when it comes to removing the makeup as well, we may as well just skip ahead to that bit, as we're talking about the cleansers. As we mentioned, double cleanse, we really recommend, but either of these will work great for a double cleanse.
Yeah, and I've personally used the oat cleansing balm around my eyes, and I find it quite comfortable. I don't think that's the instructions, but I actually find it quite comfortable to use around the eye, very safely around the eye area.
Be very careful.
Yeah, exactly.
Around your eyes, right? Yeah.
That's me saying that.
Yeah, that's you saying that. So as we mentioned as well, a good kind of in any skincare routine step is to hydrate, and that's the next step on the INKEY list. Packaging. That's not it. Where's the hydrate step?
Oh, sorry.
That's fine. And where is it? Hyaluronic acid.
So I've moved everything around. Sorry.
I'm
just picking and sniffing.
Testing. So hydration is so important for prepping the skin because it does a number of things, right? So obviously it's going to add hydration to your skin. So if you are dehydrated, you can still be oily and dehydrated, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and you may get that really kind of like odd, shiny, but yet dry feeling if you're oily. That's kind of a good sign that you're dehydrated. So something like the hyaluronic acid serum is going to work really well for you. You love this under makeup.
This is the one, I'm just going to go ahead if that's okay. This is the one that I actually really like under foundation as an oily person, because it's just enough hydration, it's just enough moisture, and it really helps in those areas, like I said, these areas around the nose, and especially the nose in general, that can be quite textured, and some of us are quite porous there, you know, we have drier skin there, you know, occasionally there's a bit of crusty skin for some reason.
Do you have a mist? Like a spray mist?
A water?
Okay. Yeah, so here's one thing I like to do. I'm pretty sure everyone's heard of this before. It's like a sandwiching technique, right? So as sandwiches, as we know, hyaluronic acid draws in moisture into your skin. It kind of holds onto it. So one thing you can do to kind of make that hydration last longer throughout the day, I personally find, is to mist your face with any mist, any toner, anything you got.
Fresh.
Talk amongst yourselves. And then you take your hyaluronic acid. You literally only need like a pea-sized amount.
Be surprised how much it feels like it's spreading as well.
This
And
particular serum has a
yeah.
real slip to it.
It does. And I think that's what I like about the feeling afterwards. Like, can you see on my skin? My skin still looks slightly like it has a shine to it, but it's not greasy. And it doesn't feel, I can't feel any kind of like slippy texture on my skin. It's not like in one of those silicone primers. I hate those. I don't know why people recommend them
You don't
so
like
much.
silicone primers?
I can't stand them. I think they're terrible. So something like this that has that grip, it's extremely comfortable on the skin. Whether you're oily, whether you're kind of that combination and you just want something comfortable to wear foundation on top of, it just works so incredibly well.
It does. Sorry.
On so many people as well. Just try it. If you've never tried just a hyaluronic acid serum, it's one of the best things to use.
Yeah. The thing with hyaluronic acid serums as well is they have different molecular weights as well. So they can get deeper into your skin science. A lot of people tend to say they get dry from hyaluronic acid serums.
Oh, really?
Because it can actually like pull out, but this has sodium hyaluronate, which is slightly lower in molecular weight, so it can penetrate the skin better.
I knew that.
He knew that, giving you that. Do you have another treatment that you really, really like?
Where is it? That's what I'm spoken. So, the niacinamide. I can't say this word. Niacinamide. You really did set me up. So, niacinamide is there it was. Is an ingredient that I kind of like. I was like, I'm okay. And then you started speaking about it, and then the INKEY sent me some, and I was like, okay, if now I'm in this situation, let's just do it.
Yeah, I get it.
And I get it now. I really do get it now.
Yeah.
I still, under makeup, I still prefer the hyaluronic acid, but this is something I will put into my morning and evening skincare routine.
Yeah, I think the great thing about niacinamide, is that it's more of a long-term prepping product as well. So there's numerous studies shows that it can help reduce the appearance of your pores. So if you do find your makeup is sitting in your pores, this might really help to help even out tone. But the reason I fell in love with niacinamide is because it helps regulate sebum production. As someone with a very oily T-zone, this became a staple in my routine. And I used it, niacinamide, religiously non-stop for about 3 years. And I still do. You find it in a lot of products. But this kind of like direct niacinamide serum helps a lot. So this is something you can use every day, again, morning and evening in your routine. And in the long run, you're going to find that this really, really helps with makeup prep.
Yeah, I just want to also go in, like I said earlier, with the caffeine eye cream, because although I have a it's not hyaluronic acid on, when I'm feeling my skin, and this is what I mean by letting your skin deal with the skincare for a little bit, and then going back in and assessing the situation. I don't need any more moisture anywhere else except for my nose, and I know I'm dehydrated around this area, but I don't want to go in too much moisture, so I'm going to go in with the eye cream. And I'm literally going to use a small amount and really push that into the nose. It's like one of the best tips.
Yeah, I'm going to use the niacinamide.
You're not going to use the eye cream everywhere?
not at this stage now, because listen, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Is I overcompensate. So where I feel quite dry, I tend to then all of a sudden get very oily.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Don't ask me why.
Don't ask me why. I also eye cream in general, I think is great under eye makeup.
Yeah.
I know that sounds really basic, and that sounded like eye creams for the eyes. But I know a lot of people tend to shy away from it because they think it's going to make their eye makeup smudge quicker and crease easier, but it really, really won't at all. I think it's really important, especially, again, it's just like this middle part of my face is dry. So right in these little areas here, I like to get really in there. I know we need to be gentle around the eye, but come on.
You do, and I'm watching you scrub it.
Just this one time. I just want to push right in that corner. Right into that bridge, get all that dryness gone.
Okay. One thing I just got to say about the niacinamide as well. Sorry, you can tell we're very back and forth for our treatment. But what I like about the INKEY in particular is that they are very nice, well-rounded formulations as well. So even though this says niacinamide, we also have hyaluronic acid in here as well. So you are getting that hydration and plumpness to the skin with this as well.
Maybe I'll have a little play with both of them.
Yeah.
Under makeup.
Oh. Oh,
Oh,
oh, we talked earlier about exfoliation.
yeah.
Yes, and one of my one of my favorites is beta hydroxy acid.
BHA.
BHA. So
That's where it comes
that's where
from.
it comes from. You got it now. So salicylic acid,
Yeah.
right? Which can basically kind of enter your pores, right? Clears all the gunk out, yeah, and exfoliates gently as well. So if you're oily, again, these are like a godsend BHAs because they can help regulate sebum production. But again, reducing the appearance of like slightly enlarged pores. Again, even out that texture and tone as well. You don't have to be oily to use a BHA. For me, though, it is one of my preferred T-zone exfoliating treatments. I'm going to go ahead and use it now.
Now on top of the thing.
Yeah, so on top of the
thing.
these are safe to use together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay, cool.
you don't have many kind of what's the word, like do's and don'ts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can stack treatments, and obviously this completely depends on your skin type and how your skin kind of takes stuff. I've been using BHA for 3 years.
Since I was born.
I know my limits since I was born. You know, there are certain like kind of like ideas that you can't use a certain product with a certain product. Not many of them are proven.
Yeah.
Listen to your skin. Always listen to your skin. If you have any questions about anything, you can actually go to the inkey.com and ask Inkey.
Yes.
They're very, very helpful as well. They don't just talk about their products. They don't just talk about, you know, they will help you with skincare in general. So they're very, very good. And what I like about this one is it's a slightly thicker kind of serumy texture. So you don't have to put it on a cotton pad if you don't want to. And again, just rub and pat that into
Oh, it
the
looks
skin.
like water.
Yeah, it's
I
like
know
thick
I have.
water.
There it is. Sorry, I have a blemish up here where the skin around it's like a little bit dry, so I'm putting eye cream on it.
Watch Robert with the makeup prep tips though. That's why you put an eye cream on that.
It's just that thing again of that texture. Any texture that I find difficult to deal with. Sunburn. Please don't put makeup on top of sunburn. But I've done it on clients. If they've come in,
where your skin is slightly drier, so you have a spot there, right? And it's like drying out a little bit. So you would put
you know those areas of makeup where throughout the day you're like, oh, that's really dry, that's looking really dry. Like an eye cream underneath before, and then you'll be fine, honest.
You should do like a practice day, right? Where you just kind of like do your makeup in your room, do your day, and then occasionally check back on it and see what areas are kind of like...
Exactly that. Eye cream over the whole face.
Forget everything, just do eye cream.
Exactly. No, I need to find out like the science behind this and why it's such a... Maybe there isn't one. Maybe it's just placebo.
Do you know what it is? It's just adding those kind of like deeper moisturizing ingredients to those troubled areas.
Right, that makes sense.
Areas for makeup.
Troubled.
So another issue a lot of people face is dull, tired, dry looking skin, which is difficult to put makeup over.
And this is something as well I get asked a lot, is how to do eye makeup, or, you know, what can I do? I don't want to wear foundation. A lot of people don't want to wear foundation, but they want to do makeup. And that is a skincare question, really, because it's about if you're not happy with the way your skin is, and you're asking that question, how can I, you know, I forgot what I was saying. I'm so sorry. that is a skincare question, basically.
Yeah.
So if you're having trouble thinking, oh, maybe my blush is too red on my cheeks because my cheeks are so red, or, you know, it's not quite working for you, then skincare is your answer to that.
That's the thing. A lot of like these kind of like insecurities and, you know, little issues, you can kind of insecurity can kind of show up under makeup as well, potentially, especially dark circles. I think everyone over the age of like 25 something. So one thing that this is kind of like the niacinamide and the beta hydroxy acids, where they're kind of like long-term treatment solutions that one day you're just gonna be like, oh my god, like the makeup's sitting really well on my skin.
Happening now.
Yeah, I see it happening now. 15% vitamin C and EGF. So vitamin C is a good, powerful antioxidant that works great morning, evening, do what you want. Always wear sunscreen with vitamin C's. But what it can do is help your skin appear more radiant. It can help tackle fine lines, aging, hyperpigmentation, and dullness, particularly as well.
Imagine the day where you don't have to use full coverage foundation. I'm like, imagine that. You're like, I don't care.
But that's it. A lot of our friends who do makeup now just wear little bits of concealer, right? Because they kind of got to the point in their skincare routine where they're really happy with the way their skin looks. It's not flawless. No one's flawless. You know, nothing's ever going to be perfect. But they're really happy with the condition that their skin is in. Yeah. And that's what this is all about as well. It's not trying to reach a stage of perfection in any way whatsoever. It's just kind of like reaching a stage that you're comfortable to just, you know, use a little bit of makeup. If you like full coverage, knock yourself out.
Oh yeah, do your thing.
Do it.
But for those of you who have that question,
yeah, that's for you. So what I really love about this 15% vitamin C is I don't like vitamin C serums.
What?
Yeah. So a lot of them for me, right, are very metallic or they're very runny,
Oh, I
but they can be a bit
agree.
spicy on the
You're like,
skin.
oh, copper.
Yeah. So look at this one.
Oh,
You
nice.
see that?
Yeah, it's more liquidy.
It's a little bit liquidy thick, you know. Again, I'm comfortable using this vitamin C because I've used this a fair few times before
Yeah.
with all my other treatments. There's this idea that you can't use niacinamide and vitamin C together.
Yeah.
You're absolutely fine. But this really does have a nice soothing effect to it as well, making it perfect for base makeup application.
Oh, and it doesn't smell horrible.
Sorry, smoothing, not soothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't smell metallic. It doesn't smell...
You're so right about vitamin C serums. There's something about them where I didn't know I was holding change for an hour, and now my face and hands smell.
Yeah, exactly.
No, this has no smell. It's great.
It's good, right? So here is where I would use eye cream.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. You've gone through the whole bottle, but it's like, whatever. Listen.
So many uses.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest eye cream fan, I'm going to be honest. But
Tell me why.
when I want a real pick-me-up, and because here's the thing. So I know the moisturizers that work under my eyes, but it's really not as simple as that.
I was gonna say I like to have it then done.
Yeah, there are moisturizers that I can use on my face that are too drying for under my eyes. There are moisturizers that I use. There are moisturizers that I use even too thick for under my eyes. So save yourself the fuss. I used to be very anti eye cream.
I know.
Until Caroline Hirons was like, "What are you doing?" Like,
Yeah,
you're
right. Yeah.
And then I kind of started using them, and I've got to be honest, at the age of like 32, I want to start giving my eyes that kind of like special treatment.
Right.
And I don't have a time to faff and try and work out what moisturizers
Exactly.
work just as well.
That's why I like it under eye makeup, because it's the perfect balance already done. You don't have to do anything else. Instead of people like, oh, just use whatever. It's like, no, I don't want to just use my face cream around my eyes. I'd rather just use an eye cream. The levels there, the amount of hydration is perfectly set. I'm not playing around with that.
Listen. But this is, but this is about makeup, right?
Yes,
so
yeah.
A lot of people, it's kind of like shut down eye creams, but for makeup prep, they're kind of important. Right?
They are important, but like I said, it's that balance of moisture. You can use the tackiest, stickiest eye primer. Oh, I really hit my eyes then for some reason. Eye primer, and still have like super greasy eyelids, or use something like a moisturizer on your eyelids, and it's going to break down that makeup again.
Yeah, what I really do like about this particular eye cream though is it leaves you with that kind of like, hang on, kind of like glossy look to under your eyes. That does give you, listen, nothing is instant with skincare, but this does give you that kind of like instant yet temporary glossy look under your eyes whilst working on it.
Right, and I think that's what I like about the eye cream and the hyaluronic acid serum, is that instant texture.
Yeah,
you get that instant, like, that's going to work and benefit my makeup. That like almost like, you know.
Right. Yes.
But comfortable.
Yeah.
Look it up. It's a word.
Bear with me. I use a little bit too much of this eye cream, but it rubs in so easily as well.
And that's the thing, you need to remember with when you're prepping your skin for makeup, start off small. We see all these videos online of people dropping stuff on their face. Absolutely not. The amount people use here on one drop can be used for the whole face. So when it comes, if you find your makeup isn't lasting so long, maybe you're overusing hydration. Your skin just is like, I'm good.
Yeah, stop it.
I'm really good, and it's kind of just sitting on the surface of your skin. So give your skin time to work with stuff, because you don't want to be putting foundation on top of a layer of just skincare.
All these layers of
skincare, to a point where your face is like, a greased up, I don't know, what do you grease in the kitchen? Eggs. We don't cook. Greased up microwave.
Swiftly moving on, very swiftly. The next stage is, of course, moisturize. So the next step after treating the specifics of your skincare needs. So that's where the treatments really are. Is really think, let's say, think on one or two things that your skin needs to focus on that with the treatments, right? So moisturizing is a fun step because you can play around with kind of what you want to achieve. There are so many different kinds of moisturizers as well. It kind of changes here because, well, for example, just with skincare, I'll use something lighter in the morning, put SPF on after, then something like a sleeping mask or a thicker moisturizer in the evening. However, when it comes to makeup, you kind of want to pick and choose, right, depending on what you go for.
And the areas you're using it as well. So for example, if you do want to use moisturizer, if you're not just if you think I can't just use a serum, a moisturizer, maybe you don't want to use it on the nose, maybe you just want to use a serum on the nose and the forehead and leave your moisturizer to the cheeks. I do that sometimes because I do sometimes feel quite tight on my cheeks,
Yeah.
but I know my forehead and my nose are going to get greasy like 2 minutes after putting foundation on, depending on what I use. So really kind of figure out again, but where that tightness is and where that hydrate. Like now, I could use a little bit more, but I got that nice texture to it, so I feel like I'm going to be good on my cheeks.
Yes, yeah. The INKEY actually do a moisturizer called the Sim Bright Moisturizer, which is super silky and kind of like the perfect daily moisturizer to put makeup over the top, right? But also reapplication as well. It doesn't get greasy or heavy because some moisturizers, right?
Between you and me,
between us, some moisturizers you put on, you're like, oh my god, that's great. Like it's the right kind of amount of like moisturizer, hydration, and it's sitting really well on the skin. And then, like you said, an hour out of the door, they're like, why is my skin falling off?
and then
Why
your
is my
makeup,
face
your
falling
foundation can start to like oxidize if there's too much going on. If you're using something that's too rich for your skin as well under foundation, it can potentially change the color of your foundation. So we, of course, when we put a foundation on, we want to be like, that's my shade, I'm going to keep this, you know?
Yeah, exactly. The Sim Bright Moisturizer does have kind of like this instant luminosity to it, and it does kind of give you that, like I showed you with the under eye cream, it kind of gives you this like luminosity to your skin, kind of like if you're oily and you want to have that dewy glow, but you don't want to have to kind of overly hydrate or use any specific kind of like you get all those dewy primers, right?
Yes, exactly.
Then something like the Sim Bright Moisturizer is going to give you that dewy glow without having to have all those products on.
Primers, I'm like, sometimes I'm just gonna put some foundation on just so I can get it nice and show you how smoothly it goes on now, and how much it grips as well. Oh, this foundation's usually my shade and the right lighting. Some primers, I feel, again, I keep hyping up hyaluronic acid, but some primers really just do what hyaluronic acid does.
Yeah.
In terms of the texture and the effect on your skin, it really just leaves like a tacky feeling, or you get those ones that are a little bit more slippy or silky depending on what you like. But primers are great if you have like an extreme of one skin type, extremely oily, extremely dry. But then again, you know what? Hyaluronic acid and eye cream.
Yeah, eye cream everywhere.
Yeah.
Bear with us 1 second. Sorry, guys.
Hello. So sorry about that. We're having a
Sorry,
few
guys.
technical issues with our microphone, so hopefully you can hear us a lot better now. You were saying, let me just go back. I'm sorry if you heard this already, but repetition is key to learning. I was just touching on primers and saying that what a lot of primers do is actually just kind of exactly what a hyaluronic acid does. A hyaluronic acid serum, it leaves you that texture on the skin. So unless you have an extremely dry skin, like, and I mean extremely troublesome or extremely oily, then hyaluronic acid pretty much just does what primers do. And there are some great primers out there, don't get me wrong, but like,
that particular hyaluronic acid serum,
that particular one,
yeah, because it leaves you with that grippiness on the skin.
exactly. Finally, SPF would be applied before makeup, but we are sat in a dark room. Well, lighting in the evening, but of course SPF is so important. Every routine should end in SPF, no matter whether you put it on makeup or not, or afterwards, even if it's like not snowing. Yeah, even if it's snowing, wear
Get some
sunscreen.
snow sunscreen on.
If it's cloudy, you must wear sunscreen as well. Then
Yeah.
go into your makeup.
Yeah, and you can absolutely reapply your sunscreen over as I say, underneath your foundation, over your foundation by using something like a beauty sponge again, putting the sunscreen on this beauty sponge and applying it like you would a foundation, or you can get sunscreen powders, you can get sunscreen setting sprays, although I do trust going over with a sunscreen on a sponge.
That's probably the
everything else.
best technique.
Yeah.
Tried and tested.
And if you do need to touch up a little bit afterwards with your foundation, go ahead and do that.
Yes, perfect. So, quick recap.
Good
Good cleanse.
Yes.
Double cleanse for the evening to take off that makeup. When it comes to the treatment stage, we are talking working on those longer term results. Hyaluronic acid is a great treatment stage for almost like hydrating, almost like priming your skin, right?
Literally priming, making it nice and smooth,
Mhm.
making the skin slightly almost bouncy in a way.
Yes, and then also a moisturizer if you want to. If you're very oily, you can leave it, and then of course sunscreen, and then your makeup.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. What are we doing now?
We've
Let's
we've
see.
we said a lot of things, so we're going to
Yeah.
go into another Q&A, I believe. So if you do have any more questions, please go ahead and put them in the comments. We have a question coming up. So let's
Right
have a little look.
away. Lovely. From Lydia. Hello. Why is it important to perform a skincare routine before applying makeup? We were literally discussing this before, weren't we? Because we were like, why can't you just shove it on, right?
Whack it on.
So this is a thing. If you want it to last, like, I mean, if you're doing everyday makeup, right? A few little touches, a bit of lipstick, whatever. If you wanted to, you know, for like a foundation, concealer, eyes, all that kind of stuff, you want to take away those like oils that may have accumulated over the day, because as Rob was saying, they don't play too well foundation. You want to, if you want longer results with your makeup, it's best to prep your skin.
That's exact. For me, it's the longevity of wear of your foundation. If you're not listening to what your skin is doing, of course our skin is sitting under our foundation, right? This is why I don't get setting sprays as well. So what ruins our makeup, our foundation? What ruins our sorry, I have a black piece under my what ruins our foundation comes from within our skin. It's our oils. It could be our dry skin, it could be whatever. Is it gone? It's gone. So that's why we really need to kind of listen to what our skincare is doing, even that day, our skin is doing that day, and kind of tweaking our foundation, our makeup routine to that. So that's why I think it's not just important to do a skincare routine, but also know what your skin is doing.
Yeah, and how it's performing that day. So I have days where I'm oily as hell for like,
I know,
like one day, then the next day I'm like, why am I dry now? You know?
It's because I had no water yesterday. Suddenly you're dry.
Water, key to everything.
Let's
right.
look at some more questions.
Let's get to the next question. Okay, so
it is so red.
Tips for makeup over blemishes by Nat.
Eye cream, but also as well, I just wanted to say one thing about blemishes. Remember, with makeup we can cover color and we can cover discoloration, but we can't cover texture completely. So for example, I've sometimes had like clients in the past who'll be like, I have a spot, you put makeup on it, I can still see it. I'm like, well, I can't flatten it with makeup. So it does come down to skincare also, but don't go too hard on it. Don't think I really need to cover it. You notice it more than anyone else, trust me. So when it comes to a blemish, cover it evenly, but don't go over the top. There's nothing more obvious than a blemish with foundation, concealer, powder, more concealer on top. So if you really are worried about covering a physical maybe bump on the skin, nice and slowly take it easy. If you have like a deeper blemish, say like a gray mark left over from a blemish before, using almost like color correcting, but we don't want to use orange, a concealer that is maybe 2 shades deeper than your skin tone, use that first, and then you can go on top of your foundation. Here's another thing with blemishes, right? You can, if it isn't too much, say you just have red cheeks like myself, do your foundation first and then see how much you really need to cover all the other areas. Then go in with your concealer, the same shade as your foundation. I think with blemishes, we panic and we're like, oh my God, it's too much.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're lucky enough to live in a time where people are very embracing of all kind of like skin tones, textures, condition. What I would say is when it comes to your blemishes is I think a lot of people make a mistake of trying to dry them out and get rid of them or picking them, thinking that you can just put makeup over the top and it'll be fine.
Right.
But of course, when your skin is a lot drier, that blemish is going to show up a lot more. So speaking of spot treatments, I don't like spot treatments. Like, I don't like things. I usually don't like spot treatments because they tend to dry out my skin a lot. And as someone who is very, very prone to post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, I don't like those dark spots left because I use a spot cream, it dries it out. The spot was probably there for like 2 days and I got this dark spot that's going to last a month, right?
With you forever.
With you forever. So the succinic acid blemish treatment from the INKEY list,
Everything's
We're
on
here for the
Inky
Inky list.
list.
For me, has been amazing because you got salicylic acid in here and sulfur, which are very not gentle, but they're not harsh either, but they're very good at kind of like effectively flattening that blemish,
Doing their
curing the
job.
blemish, doing its job, the spot, the breakout,
Mm.
without drying out your skin. You know, there's really painful ones that like, oh my god, I can't even laugh.
Like
They're so
under,
painful.
yeah.
This got rid of one of them in like 2 days, personal experience. Then like the little spot here, like pretty much overnight. Now, I'm not saying that's for everyone, but it's just so gentle and you're not left with that kind of like dry mark. Also, this is slightly green. Does that help with anything?
Green does cancel out redness.
Okay.
But then yellow can as well.
Oh, okay.
So depending on what you're using in terms of concealer, if you have, you know, if you're using a foundation with a yellow undertone, which everyone seems to be at the moment, even though I don't have to.
Had to get that dig in there.
Had to get that dig in there. I had to. It can help to cancel out redness, but something that's very lightly tinted green is great to kind of like give you a base with a little bit of coverage to then put foundation on top. My ears are so red. Always put foundation on your ears.
Look, yeah, people forget that. This also has hyaluronic acid in, so it's hydrating as well.
Yeah.
Just a reminder quickly, the products that we're talking about today are all available in the description box. Or maybe, no, that's my videos. All available over on the Inky list. They are the Inky List Oat Cleansing Balm, Fulvic Acid Cleanser, Hyaluronic Acid, Vitamin C, Succinic Acid Blemish Treatment, Caffeine Eye Cream, and the Simbright Moisturizer we mentioned today.
Yes, exactly. Do we have any more questions? Amazing. Look how still like shiny my skin.
I know, that's why I love them.
Are BB creams better for oilier skin?
Oh, good question.
I would say no, but also yes. No, because they tend to have brands tend to be making CC creams and BB creams with a little bit more skincare tendencies to it. And this is why I feel like it's important to do your skincare routine and get it down before the foundation step, because now you're adding more moisture and you're adding another almost like layer of hydration over what you've already got down.
See, because I would have wondered this as well, because I was presuming BB creams are kind of like lighter foundation.
They're lighter, but they tend to be more they tend to be aimed at people with drier skin. And if you look at the ingredients, they tend to be more hydrating than your usual foundation.
Right.
However, they are easier to touch up for oilier skin. So because it has that lighter coverage, they're so much easier to maybe just go a little bit on top. If you don't mind looking hydrated, having that nice glow to the skin, then absolutely go ahead. And if you have time to touch up, not everyone has time to touch up throughout the day, then absolutely. But
riddle me this.
I shall.
Could you, if they're a bit, you say like they tend to be for people with dry skin, could you, I kind of get what she means, like with like putting the BB cream over it. Do they feel lighter? The wood powdering,
they
do
do
anything
feel
around
light.
making up stuff?
No, you're right. They do feel lighter on the skin because they are physically lighter in texture. So it almost feels like a water sometimes, depending on what brand you use. There are also full coverage BB cream, CC creams, but that's like on and on. But they're more well known for being lighter coverage with benefits to them of like hydrating the skin. There is almost like that summer thing, you know, but nobody makes stuff really good for oily skin, so it's a little bit of a battle, to be honest with you. So if you don't mind touching it up, then yes, absolutely go ahead. It looks great on oilier skin, it looks great on any skin actually. I love a BB cream or a CC cream, but if you don't really have time and you don't really want to look like a greasy kind of like, you know, grease at the end of the day, then greasy grease, the worst kind of grease, then I would maybe stay away from it. Maybe use it on the areas where you're not greasy, like on the cheeks, maybe a little bit around the forehead, and then you can use like a light powder in the middle, and that's also a little bit easier to touch up as well.
Cool. Okay.
There's many options. It all depends on your skin type.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, cool. Let's see if we have another question. How many times a week should I use my AHA? How many times should I use my AHA in a week from Stargazer?
I want to know that too.
Love your name. So this is kind of optional in the sense that you should always build up your tolerance to things like this, right? So any active in general, AHAs in particular, and exfoliants, I found for me personally, would irritate my skin if I overuse them. Personal experience, other people might tolerate it a lot better.
I was using one every day, not realizing that it wasn't AHA, and my skin, it was like, why are you trying to kill me?
It was an AHA in a serum, so it's kind of disguised, and Robert didn't know he was using it every day.
I was like, oh,
he was so red.
I was so red and so dry. You know when like,
I was like, what are you using?
You know when kids like lick their lips and it gets all dry. It was like that over my whole face. It was terrible.
You can so build up your tolerance. First of all, use once a week. Let's say that, right? Twice a week, right? And then see how you go with that for like a month. Then build up over time. You can eventually. They do make daily exfoliants. They have things like, you know, aloe, for example, and that to kind of counteract any kind of like irritation or dryness that you may get. However, there really is no need to use an AHA more than twice a week or any exfoliant more than twice a week. I'm oily, so I tend to use a BHA 3 times a week because I'm very oily and my skin's absolutely fine with that. But, you know, I would say twice a week. If you got it in like a serum or moisturizer, you should be all right to use that one time a little extra a week. But build up your tolerance, but there's really no need to use it every day. So two to 3 times a week. Yeah, for sure. Let's see if we have another question.
How to stop? Oh, yes. Okay. How to stop mascara transferring under the eyes? Let me tell you, eye cream. No, I'm joking. Eye primers, right? Whether you're wearing eye makeup or not, grab an eye primer that is, and I'm not talking like a silky one. We want sticky. We want for one that feels a little bit waxy. Use it a tiny bit. Just tap with your finger. Oil on your eyelids is like it just breaks everything down. It ruins your mascara, it ruins your eye makeup, and when your lashes almost act like a slide for your oil, right? Yeah, so when you blink and you're wearing mascara and it's all starting to dissolve, oil breaking down, dissolving your mascara, you know what happens when your mascara gets a little bit wet and it's not waterproof and it all starts to smudge. Same thing. Just use an eye primer on the eyelids. Eye primer, a little tiny bit of powder, and honestly, I would bet money about £5 that it will save
under the eyes as well. Is that
because it transfers under the eyes? So when that oil from up here, when you're blinking, it gets all in your lashes here, and it starts to break everything down. If you are already and I'm not talking concealer, that's not eye primer. If you're using an eye primer already and you're finding that it's maybe not good enough, go for one that's a little bit drier. And maybe skip the eye cream. I know I love eye cream, but maybe skip the eye cream. But eye primer, honestly, for all your eye makeup smudging needs, whether it's the top of the eye or underneath, eye primer all the way to the lash line.
Primer.
Yeah, and then maybe just do your mascara and maybe run a tiny bit of like a powder along the lash line, like a brown or something, just so it doesn't look like, you know, flesh lashes, you know, because that can look quite obvious. You want that little break in between. But honestly, eye primers are absolutely incredible for melting makeup. Again, even on your nose, if you're quite oily around here, tap in a bit of eye primer there, or stop it from coming through. That's its literal job, is to make a barrier block like a wall.
There we go.
Do it. I swear by it.
Right, let's go on to the next question. Let's see. Any tips on how to speed up healing for those pesky blind blemishes?
That's a good question.
They're painful.
They are painful.
Don't touch it.
They give you headaches, right?
Don't touch it. Yeah, they do give you headaches. So, right, the areas I always get them because they seem to be the most painful. Temples.
Yeah. Top of the cheek.
Top of the cheeks. Yeah, here, down here, but then sometimes here, and it's so painful on the lip here. Yeah. BHAs. Although I just said don't apply them more than once a week, on a little Q-tip, BHA, just like that.
Almost like treatment.
Like a treatment, yeah. But other than that, just don't kind of let them do their thing.
It's so tempting to touch it because you're kind of like, oh, is it here yet?
Yeah, it's like I can feel it underneath. And
should I squeeze it now? And you can't even see it.
Yeah. Yeah. There is this kind of like concept that hydrating the skin actually helps heal it quicker. It's a very Korean thing. So I would say personally hydration. I would say beta hydroxy acid for sure.
Yeah.
And then I think we have time for one more question, I believe, or maybe a few more. Let's see what we have. How do I stop makeup caking on my chin and around my mouth area?
That's difficult because it's movement.
Right.
It's like high area of movement. Chins are surprisingly oily, you know. I don't know.
They are like here.
I don't know where they get off being so oily.
This is still considered your T-zone, so it's still
so it's still a little bit shiny, and sometimes it can look a bit dribbly. But caking. So again, another great thing to do is something like an eye primer. Again, it would be great because it blocks that barrier. Think about
There's so many products you can use in makeup that aren't necessarily, you can use them not what they're made for.
Right.
So again, like we said, eye cream or eye primer, that's a great way to stop all the caking. Another thing again would be to repair rather than retouch. So we're talking hydrating mist on a beauty sponge and then tapping your makeup back on top. It's a little bit difficult because it's one of those, again, a high movement area. But always, if there's something you've tried, sorry, if you tried everything, think about repairing rather than retouching. How am I going to fix this? Hydrate, retouch that area, and then go back in.
Beauty sponge.
Beauty sponge. Do I have one? I haven't cleaned any of them. That's why.
Always clean your beauty
sponge.
sponges.
Oh, here we go. So we'll hydrate our beauty sponge, and then we'll literally just tap, tap, tap on the chin very gently, and then there you can leave it if you think that's enough, or you can just go back in with like a stippling brush. So something like this, that's a little bit more lighter on top, and just stipple your foundation back on that area. But again, repairing rather than completely retouching.
Yeah. So I think that's all we have time for today.
I think it is.
So I just want to remind everybody about the products we spoke about today. The fulvic acid brightening cleanser, the hyaluronic acid, the vitamin C serum, succinic acid blemish treatment, caffeine eye cream, and Sim Bright moisturizer, all of course available over on the INKEYList.com. Don't forget the Ask INKEY service as well. It's such an amazing service to help you put together skincare routine if you have any questions about skincare in general.
Absolutely. And I believe there's another live.
Yes, tomorrow night there is another free masterclass.
Yes, so go ahead and it's all about hair, right?
It's all about hairstyling.
So go ahead and check that out. That'll be a good one.
Yeah, I might watch it.
I know zero about hair, so that'll be a really...
I was like, push it back, get it out the way. But yes, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I hope you had a good time. We had a good time through our ramblings. I hope you learned something as well. And yes, we'll see you around.
Thank you so much. Have a great week. Is it the weekend?
No.
It's the week. I'm so
Enjoy
sorry.
the rest of your week.
I gave you all hope there for 1 second.
We better go.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.